Hello everyone, Spirited Senior here, coming back to you with some news. Everybody's talking about impeachment, but I found some other news that was pretty interesting that's going on right now. And so let's just get right to it. Recent spending bill gives Middle East countries money for their own border security. Yes, people, unbelievable. Breitbart reports. American taxpayers are once again being forced to subsidize border security measures in the Middle East as part of the latest government spending bill. While construction for barriers at the U.S.-Mexico border receive explicitly less than $1.4 billion in federal funds for fiscal year 2020, foreign countries are again sweeping up billions more in U.S. taxpayer money to strengthen their borders. The spending bill, which is set to pass the Senate, provides Jordan with more than 7.3 billion people to be used to help their country to enhance the ability of the armed forces to increase or sustain security along its border. An additional $500 million is allocated to help, quote, security along Jordan's border. Another nearly $1.2 billion is available until September 2021 to enhance the border security of nations such as Jordan, Lebanon, Egypt. This is at least the third consecutive year that American taxpayers have been forced to pay for border security enhancement in foreign countries in the Middle East, as Breitbart News has chronicled. Once again, another government spending bill written up in the currently Democratic-controlled House once again gives money to Middle Eastern nations for their own border protection. This is exactly what has happened in the recent spending bill that has passed the House when it comes to border security. Nothing for the U.S. states, but places like Jordan, Lebanon, and Egypt are all getting money for their border protection at the expense of the American taxpayer. The spending bill for the fiscal year 2020 gives Middle Eastern nations billions for their own border protections, while our border with Mexico remains unprotected from anything you can think of transports itself freely into the United States from Mexico. Now, isn't that a shame? I mean, what are these Democrats doing? People, open your eyes. They don't want to protect their own border, but they're willing to give billions of dollars to protect everybody else's borders. I think that's a little crazy, but then they are a little crazy anyways, these people. Next, Hillary Clinton and aide Cheryl Mills likely to be cross-examined under oath after New Year's. The Epoch Times. Former Secretary of State and 2016 Democratic presidential nominee Hillary Clinton likely won't know until after New Year's Day if she and her former Chief of Staff Cheryl Mills will face direct cross-examining under oath by attorneys for Judicial Watch. And they've been doing a lot of good work, and I hope they get this. U.S. District Court of the District of Columbia Judge Royce C. Lamberth on December 19th delayed his expected ruling on the nonprofit government watchdog's request that he ordered Clinton and Mills to submit to the questioning. Well, we'll wait and see, Judicial Watch attorney said. The nonprofit's lead attorney on the case told the Epoch Times on December 19th following the hearing. I don't know if he's going to do anything before Christmas at this point. I would expect the order to come probably after the first of the new year, she said. The Benghazi scandal and Clinton's use of an insecure private email server located in her New York mansion are linked because of the 2014 Judicial Watch Freedom of Information Act lawsuit. 2020 looks to be interesting so far as the very early stages of 2020, because now we are finding out a case where Judicial Watch attorneys will cross-examine Hillary Clinton and her former aide Cheryl Mills. They will be under oath at some point after New Year's, after being delayed in court before Christmas, of course. This questioning of Hillary Clinton and Cheryl Mills that is coming up before the 2020 election could be pretty major, where Judicial Watch will be questioning the two under oath, as this could very well involve Hillary's private email server, and of course questioning under oath that involves the Benghazi scandal. And I haven't forgotten about that, and I hope a lot of people haven't. This means at the beginning of 2020 we will have Hillary Clinton and Cheryl Mills under oath. Early spring we could have information on Durham's criminal investigation, where Brennan is already being investigated. Then of course the re-election of Trump. And yes, Brennan is being investigated by Durham. He wants emails, everything. They got all the paperwork. That's great. Here's another thing that's really great that's happening now. Markets point out that the Democrat House impeachment vote is a big old nothing burger. It's not going to affect the stock market whatsoever. Stock markets in Europe and the United States shrug off the December 18 vote by the House of Representatives to impeach Donald Trump. U.S. stocks rose to an all-time high on December 19th as investors took news of the impeachment in stride. That's really good, isn't it? There is one indicator that points out that the Democrat-controlled House impeachment vote against President Trump means absolutely nothing. And that is that the U.S. stock market didn't have a bad day right after the Democrat-controlled House approved impeachment. Even the U.S. markets understand that the Democrat-controlled House has no power without majority control of the U.S. Senate. And to impeach President Trump, the Pelosi, Schiff, and Nadler didn't really think this through. I don't think they think anything through. They're just, you know, crazy Democrats at this point. Every indicator points to the Democrat-controlled House impeachment of Trump as a big nothing burger, and even President Trump remains at number one in Vegas after the impeachment vote to win re-election. Boy, you know, these guys, they are really, really burying themselves, aren't they? Okay, moving on. Chinese national in California is sent to prison for operating anchor baby operation. Remember this? Yes. Breitbart. A Chinese national was sentenced to less than a year in prison on Monday for operating a birth tourism agency for more than 2 years in Orange County, California. Yeah, where else would this be? Deng Yuan Li, a 41-year-old Chinese national, was sentenced in federal court to 10 months in prison after pleading guilty to 1 count of conspiracy to commit immigration fraud and 1 count of visa fraud. Between 2013 and 2015, Lee operated the U-Win USA Birth Tourism Agency, helping to fraudulently secure birthright American citizenship for the children of more than 500 pregnant foreigners, earning $3 million in the process. Federal prosecutors did not support the 10th month prison sentence for Lee, arguing that she should have received years in prison to send a message to others operating birth tourism agencies. And this is true. California seems to be largely infected with Chinese nationals running anchor baby operations inside the U.S., or what has come to be known birth tourism inside the United States. The horrible thing about this case is that this individual is only getting hit with 10 months in prison for operating this anchor baby scheme in the state of California after pleading guilty. But the good thing is that federal prosecutors are arguing with Chinese national pleading guilty should have received years in prison. And yes, he should have. What this case once again highlights is that Chinese nationals living in Democratic-controlled California are part of the major anchor baby operation through birth tourism. As this issue of birth tourism continues to reveal itself in California, involving multiple Chinese nationals. Isn't that something, eh? Well, they're going to get them all. They're all going to go down. I'm just telling you, things are starting to happen. 81 bodies found in Mexican cartel mass graves by Mexican authorities. Yeah, some more great news, eh? We are once again today seeing the immediate threat of Mexican cartels near our border, as news has surfaced of Mexican authorities discovering 81 bodies in cartel mass graves on 2 ranches in Jalisco, Mexico. This discovery will automatically give President Trump the support he needs to take on Mexican cartels, especially if the current Mexican government continues to do nothing to combat Mexican cartels in Mexico, while these cartels remain a critical national security threat to the U.S. With this discovery of 81 bodies over the last month being found in Mexican cartel mass graves in Mexico, there happens to be silence from both the Democratic establishment and their media. Go figure, eh? They don't want to mention this. With Democrats continually obstructing simple national security barriers at our border with Mexico. The same individuals who slaughtered these 81 individuals in Mexico could very likely be moving between the United States and Mexico daily and weekly. That's not the only thing. How many farmers by the border in the U.S. find dead bodies on their land? Kids and women especially. How many? There's a lot. There's a lot. And all of this is going to come out. Well, that's what I got for you today. And I'll talk to you later when I get some more.